There are countless books that have been banned or censored throughout history. These books are often controversial due to their content, themes, or language, and have been the subject of debate and discussion in academic and literary circles. In this episode of Brainwaves, we will be exploring 5 famously banned books that have stood the test of time, inspired generations, and continue to be studied and loved by readers all over the world. From tales of adventure and adolescence, to stories of dystopian societies and moral dilemmas, these books offer a glimpse into the human condition and challenge our perspectives on society, culture, and values. Get ready for an eye-opening journey through the world of literature, as we uncover the stories behind some of the most famous book bans in history. To fully appreciate the significance and impact of George Orwell's 1984, it's important to understand the background and motivations of its author. George Orwell, whose real name was Eric Arthur Blair, was born in India in 1903 and raised in England. Orwell was a keen observer of political and social issues, and his experiences working as a police officer in Burma, as well as his time fighting in the Spanish Civil War, greatly influenced his writing. In addition to 1984, Orwell is also famous for his other works, such as Animal Farm, Homage to Catalonia, and Down and Out in Paris and London. Orwell was a vocal critic of totalitarianism, imperialist policies, and censorship, and his writing reflects his strong political beliefs and his commitment to social justice and human rights. 1984 is a dystopian novel that presents a bleak and terrifying vision of a future society in which the government has complete control over every aspect of citizens' lives. The story is set in Oceania, one of 3 superstates in a world that is perpetually at war. The government, led by the enigmatic figure known as Big Brother, maintains total control over its citizens through surveillance, censorship, and propaganda. The protagonist, Winston Smith, is a low-ranking member of the ruling party who begins to rebel against the oppressive regime and its strict rules and regulations. As he sets out to resist and challenge the government, Winston is forced to confront the harsh realities of life under Big Brother, including the constant fear and suspicion, the brutal torture and punishment, and the loss of individual freedom and identity. The story highlights the dangers of totalitarianism and the importance of preserving free speech, free expression, and the right to dissent. Since its publication, 1984 has faced opposition and censorship in several countries, often due to its controversial themes and messages. One of the main reasons why the book has been banned is its portrayal of totalitarianism and government control, which some authorities consider to be subversive and threatening to stability. The book has also been accused of promoting anti-Soviet propaganda, as it was written during the Cold War era and presented a negative view of communism and the Soviet Union. In addition, the book's explicit language, sexual content, and violence have also been a source of controversy and criticism. Some critics have argued that the book promotes dissent and rebellion against authority, and that it could be used as a tool to incite violence or social unrest. Despite these challenges, however, 1984 has remained a popular and influential work of literature, and its themes and messages continue to resonate with readers around the world. Harper Lee was an American novelist, best known for her critically acclaimed and widely read novel To Kill a Mockingbird. Lee was born in Monroeville, Alabama, in 1926, and lived a relatively private life. Her father, a lawyer and a legislator, inspired the character of Atticus Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird. Lee attended the University of Alabama and subsequently moved to New York City to pursue a career in writing. To Kill a Mockingbird was her first and only novel published during her lifetime, and it won the Pulitzer Prize in 1961. Although she wrote other works, they remained unpublished until just before her death in 2016. Lee's writing style is notable for its realism, social commentary and humor. She is widely regarded as one of the most important and influential writers of the 20th century. To Kill a Mockingbird is set in the 1930s in the fictional town of Maycomb, Alabama. The story is told from the perspective of Scout Finch, a young girl who grows up in a racially divided and socially stratified community. Scout's father, Atticus Finch, is a lawyer who defends a black man, Tom Robinson, falsely accused of raping a white woman. Despite the evidence in Tom's favor, he is unfairly tried and convicted, leading to a tragic outcome. Other memorable characters in the book include Boo Radley, a reclusive neighbor who becomes an unlikely hero, and Aunt Alexandra, Scout's strict and traditionalist relative. Through the story of Tom Robinson's trial and its aftermath, Lee explores themes of racism, social injustice, institutionalized inequality, and the power and limitations of the justice system. The book is widely regarded as a masterpiece of American literature, and its characters and themes continue to resonate with readers of all ages. Despite its literary acclaim and widespread popularity, To Kill a Mockingbird has faced opposition and censorship in various contexts. One of the main reasons why the book has been banned is its themes of racism, violence, and sexual content, which some educators believe are inappropriate for young readers. Other criticisms include the use of offensive language, the challenge to social norms and values, and its alleged promotion of activism and social change. The novel has also been accused of presenting a highly idealized and simplified view of the civil rights movement, as well as of racial tensions and relations. Some critics argue that the book reinforces a white savior narrative, in which the white protagonist, Atticus Finch, is portrayed as the hero who saves the oppressed black community. Despite these criticisms and controversies, To Kill a Mockingbird has remained a popular and influential work of literature, and its messages and themes continue to resonate with readers of all ages and backgrounds. Jerome David Salinger, known as J.D. Salinger, was an American author known for his novel The Catcher in the Rye. Born in New York City in 1919, Salinger grew up in a privileged environment and attended a number of prestigious schools before enrolling in college. After briefly attending New York University, Salinger wrote for various magazines and publishers before joining the Army during World War II. His wartime experiences had a significant impact on his writing, and in 1951 he published The Catcher in the Rye, which immediately earned both critical acclaim and popular success. The novel has since sold millions of copies worldwide and has been translated into numerous languages. Following the book's publication, Salinger became increasingly reclusive and avoided public exposure. He continued to write, however, and published several other works, including a collection of stories and novellas. Salinger died in 2010 at the age of 91, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most important and influential writers of the mid-20th century. The Catcher in the Rye is a novel written by J.D. Salinger, which was first published in 1951. The story is told from the perspective of Holden Caulfield, a teenage boy who has been expelled from his prep school and is wandering around New York City. The novel is essentially a coming-of-age story, as Holden tries to make sense of the world around him and his place in it. Along the way, he meets a variety of characters, including his younger sister Phoebe, whom he admires and loves, and whom he hopes can help him find direction and purpose in his life. The novel is noted for its vivid portrayal of teenage angst, alienation, and rebellion, and for its use of vernacular language and unique narrative style. Although originally intended for an adult audience, the book has become a staple of high school and college literature classes, and has influenced generations of writers and artists. The Catcher in the Rye has faced censorship and controversy since its publication, largely due to its themes of teenage angst, rebellion, and alienation, which some critics find inappropriate or disturbing for young readers. The book's protagonist, Holden Caulfield, uses explicit language and exposes the hypocrisy of adult society, becoming a literary icon for countercultural movements. Moreover, the novel's discussions of sexuality, death, and mental illness are among some of the reasons why it has been banned in various contexts. Some critics have also raised concerns about the book's critique of societal norms and values, which they argue could lead impressionable readers to question authority and disregard social conventions. However, despite the controversies surrounding the book, The Catcher in the Rye has been celebrated as a landmark work of literature, revered for its innovative style, psychological insight, and sensitive characterization. Mark Twain, born Samuel Clemens, was an American author and humorist known for his distinctive literary style and witty social commentary. He was born in 1835 in Missouri and worked as a riverboat pilot before becoming a writer. His most famous works, including The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, are set in the Mississippi River town of Hannibal, Missouri, and feature distinctive characters and settings inspired by Twain's own experiences. Twain's writing style is characterized by his use of vernacular language, colloquialisms, and regional accents, which he believes are a more accurate representation of American English. His work often addresses social issues such as slavery, racism, and poverty, and is known for its satire and humor. Twain is considered one of the most important writers in American literature, and his works continue to be studied and celebrated worldwide. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is a novel written by Mark Twain and first published in 1884. The story is narrated by its protagonist, Huckleberry Finn, a teenager who lives in the pre-Civil War South and runs away from his abusive father with an escaped slave named Jim. Throughout their journey, Huck and Jim encounter a number of memorable characters, including Tom Sawyer, Huck's childhood friend and partner in crime, and the Duke and the King, two con men who try to swindle them. The novel satirizes various aspects of society at the time, including racism, slavery, and hypocrisy, and explores themes of individual freedom, moral growth and change, and the tension between individual conscience and societal pressure. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn has been praised for its vivid depictions of the American South and its social commentary, and is considered one of the greatest American novels of all time. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn has been the subject of controversy and censorship due to its portrayal of racism and use of language and themes that some find offensive. The book's narrator and protagonist, Huck Finn, frequently uses racial slurs in reference to Jim, the escaped slave he befriends on his journey. Some critics argue that this language is unnecessary and harmful, while others argue that it is reflective of the culture and language of the time. Additionally, the book's overarching critique of societal norms and values, and its portrayal of violence, have been sources of concern for some readers and educators. Despite the controversies surrounding the book, it is important to remember that The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn also addresses themes of individual freedom and morality, and has been praised for its vivid depictions of life in the pre-Civil War South. For these reasons, Twain's work remains a valuable and influential piece of American literature. F. Scott Fitzgerald was an American writer known for his novels and short stories, which often depicted the excesses and follies of the Jazz Age, a term he famously coined himself. Born in 1896 in Minnesota, Fitzgerald studied at Princeton University and began his writing career as a journalist. His early novels, including This Side of Paradise and The Beautiful and Damned, explore the lives of wealthy and glamorous socialites in the 1920s, and drew upon his own experiences living among the wealthy elite. However, his most famous work, The Great Gatsby, was not an immediate success upon publication in 1925, but has since come to be regarded as a masterpiece of American literature. Fitzgerald's literary style is characterized by his poetic and lyrical prose, vivid descriptions of characters and landscapes, and his haunting portrayal of disillusionment and lost dreams. Fitzgerald's work continues to be celebrated for its timeless themes of love, loss, and the elusive search for the American dream. The Great Gatsby is a novel written by F. Scott Fitzgerald and published in 1925. The story is set in the summer of 1922 in the fictional town of West Egg on Long Island, and is narrated by a young man named Nick Carraway, who becomes involved in the lives of his wealthy neighbors, particularly the enigmatic J. Gatsby. Gatsby is a reclusive millionaire who is obsessed with a former love interest, Daisy Buchanan, who is now married to Tom Buchanan, a powerful and privileged man. The novel explores the themes of love, wealth, the American dream, and the corruption of the upper class. The characters in the book, particularly Gatsby, are often seen as symbols of the excess, decadence, and moral decay of the Jazz Age. The Great Gatsby has been praised for its poetic language, complex characters, and incisive critique of American society, and is considered one of the greatest novels of the 20th century. The Great Gatsby has been the subject of controversy and censorship due to its portrayal of sexual affairs and violence, use of profanity and drinking, and critiques of the American dream. The novel's depiction of the excesses of the Jazz Age, and its portrayal of characters who engage in immoral behavior, offended some readers and critics upon publication. The use of profanity, drinking, and sexual affairs was seen as scandalous and inappropriate by some, while others praised Fitzgerald's daring portrayal of life during the 1920s. The book also critiques the American dream, suggesting that the pursuit of wealth and status can lead to moral corruption and spiritual emptiness. Some readers and educators have objected to this message, seeing it as un-American and subversive. Despite the controversies surrounding the book, The Great Gatsby remains a classic and influential work that explores profound themes of love, loss, and the search for meaning in a world that is often cruel and indifferent. And that concludes our exploration of 5 famously banned books. From 1984 and To Kill a Mockingbird, to The Catcher in the Rye, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and The Great Gatsby, these books have challenged us, inspired us, and made us think deeply about the world around us. Although they have faced censorship and opposition at various times in history, they have ultimately prevailed and continue to be studied, celebrated, and enjoyed by readers of all ages, backgrounds, and cultures. We hope that this video has opened your eyes to the importance of free speech, free expression, and the power of literature to shape our lives and the world we live in. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to bringing you more exciting episodes of Brainwaves in the future.